everybody, happy Monday night. Today is May 1st, 2023. This is Across the Pitch. We are hostless, or one host down tonight, as Dave Miller is tied up with work obligations, but the show must go on. As always, I am Mike Barrera. To my side, we have Jose Nunez. Jose, how are you doing tonight?
I'm doing all right, Mike. I think to your point of the show must go on, I like to think that, excuse me, we pride ourselves in always having an episode for people that they can expect, whether it's for their commute, whether it is for them to watch live, whether it's an interview in the off season, like we did with Thomas Gronenmark, throw-in coach. We try to have some content for you all so you all can expect it. So that's the goal. I hope you enjoy it. But man, a lot to talk about, especially with the game last week. And, I was thinking about this, Mike. Weird to think that our attention is nowhere near, at least mine personally, nowhere near the Red Bulls game this weekend.
No, I almost forgot it was even going on because you mentioned in the group chat, like, oh, let's talk about the CCL match and the New York match. I was like, oh, that's right. We have another game to play that actually matters within the near future. But yes, as you mentioned, Jose, excited to be back to talking the Union again, as we do every single week. And I was very happy that my voice came back. It started coming back as of, I think, Saturday. I stopped cracking like I was going through puberty. So again, if you didn't catch our photographs and tweets and everything on Wednesday night, Jose and I were partying out with the Keystone Ultras in 140, which was a hell of a fun time. But I can tell you, I could not talk. Yeah, after the match, the next day was pretty brutal. But besides the outcome, Jose, let's talk about the environment first. How did you enjoy your time last Wednesday night?
Mike, I've been telling you this from the get-go since I've gotten to know you, and certainly since I moved my tickets from the 136, I think, or 137 over to 140. And I want to be fully transparent. I am not part of the KSU. I don't think I'm maybe dedicated enough to be part of the KSU in a way, right? Though I would argue maybe I am. I don't know. Regardless, I just want to make that super clear and not claim to be part of the group. But I've always loved and appreciated what they did. I mean, what really, caught my attention was when the trumpet would show up, and it has shown up
Yeah.
from time to time. But when the trumpet shows up, and we have one or two drums, I think kudos to the Free Kick Pod, I think it was, that was sharing the video of our section towards the tail end of the match where, we had just scored, I think. At least I think the timing is this of, having just scored. Gostag went up, did his penalty kick. Our small section of, I don't know, Mike, what would you say, like 8 or 9 rows tops of people?
Yeah, I mean, maybe 50, 60 shoved, people in these rows, yeah.
We had the entirety of 140, the entirety of 101, 102, 103, 104 probably clapping along to our song, which was awesome, man. It was so cool. But Mike, again, it's no surprise. I've been telling you this about that section. It's special. It's a lot of fun. Not to say that, other folks did not have fun. Obviously, this is a very different type of fun, but I was excited. I brought a group of 8, you included, continue to show you the ropes of 140. But man, we can talk about the match. But man, I left the stadium exhausted, both because of the result, but really because of the amount of fun that we had. What did you think about the section this time around?
It was funny because the last time I sat there, you guys were already in the stands. But this time, I had actually beaten everybody to that section. So the drums were set up, and there was like one kid at the top, and it was just me in 140, basically by myself. So I'm sitting there waiting. I know the one KSU and the Sons of Ben were chanting in the concourse beforehand. And also to clarify, I'm not KSU either. I'm a Sons of Ben. I've been for about 5 or 6 years now. But they're very welcoming. And even Evan, one of the guys, like, "Are you KSU?" I was like, "Not yet, man. I'm working my way to get there one day, maybe." But so I'm sitting there in 140 by myself, and I cannot sit still. Like, I'm just pacing. We're in section row K, right? So I'm just like walking back and forth, just back and forth, because I was mentally preparing myself to just go crazy for 90 minutes, 95 minutes. But for me, I've mentioned before on the show, yeah, I'm a big punk rocker. I love a good mosh pit. I love coming back from a concert like with bruises that I don't even know how I got them. So for me, it's like that perfect environment of, you're there to watch the game. You're there to obviously support your team, but you're there to just have a great time and party. So I had a blast, and I know next game will be May 17th, but I will be in the press box. I will not be with you, Jose. I know you're devastated. I know the others who are listening are just crushed that I won't be there, but I'll be there. I'll be there again soon, hopefully soon. But besides that, we had a soccer game at the party. If you missed it, the Union ended with a 1-1 result, which was not what we were looking for. So, Jose, your thoughts on the match now that it's been about a week for it to digest?
Yeah, it did take that much time to really digest and settle in, right? Initially,
There's
hi Val.
Valerie. Hi, Val. Thanks for tuning in.
Initially, I think I left that stadium extremely disappointed. I think I said as much anyways in the parking lot while we were waiting for cars to go by and smoking that last cigar, eating some pizza and hot dogs. Um,
And those
but
chips were really good. Those Costco chips, they were yummy. Go
you,
go ahead.
you you enjoyed the full spread, that's for
I
sure.
did, yeah.
But in reality, to finish 1-1 is fine when you look at it on paper, but when you witness that game and you were in that stadium with that atmosphere, especially after the first goal, it felt, and maybe it still does to an extent, feel like a disappointment, right?
Mhm.
Especially how hard that team fought, and again, saved by the penalty kick and VAR to allow us the opportunity to score a goal. But outside of paper, you think about this game, and 2 more minutes. That's all it took. 2 more minutes to close out that match, and, are we serial serial shit the bed type of people? Because this is exactly what it's starting to feel like, right? A bad clearance that hits someone on the back, then a couple of deflections, a cross, and another deflection for it to go in. Just disappointing in that sense, but, if you back up and listen to the last episode, I think we were all predicting a loss of at least 2.
We were.
Though Dave, I think, was predicting something different. Maybe one of us was not predicting a
He
win.
said, I think 2-1
Two
LA.
2-1 LA. So
Yeah.
for us to leave Subaru with at least a tie, which in reality, with the way the aggregate scoring works, it's technically 2-1. Um, is fine. I think that's the best that we could have hoped for. Obviously, to leave Subaru with a 1-0 lead and let them chase the game at home, tall task, but even taller of a task for us to go to LA and have to essentially be the ones chasing the game with a tie score, technically 2-1. So I'm intrigued to hear your thoughts. Obviously, you digested it with me while we were at the stadium, or at least the knee jerk reaction of witnessing and experiencing euphoria of scoring, and then the very, very bottom low of being scored on with a minute or two to go.
Well, it's funny because so one of my buddies, Max, who I mentioned on the show last week, he's a big bettor. And he was like, well, he was basically texting me before the match saying, hey, the over is like 2.5 plus 113. I was like, that's weird because it was 2.5 minus 135 the night before. So for some reason, this line was moving. So him and I were talking. He's like, well, what do you think's going to happen? Assuming I had the answers, of course, right?
Yeah.
So I was like, you can see on my Twitter too if you want to fact check me. But I said, listen, it could be a 3-3 score, it could be a high scoring affair. Both teams need to score goals, simple as that. And I said, but it could very well also be a 1-1 match. It could because of the high intensity, because of just the style of play, all that kind of stuff. It could be 1-1, which ended up being the case. Which I was happy for him because he took the both teams to score bet, so he made $100. So congratulations to him. But I was not happy with the result because I thought we were the better team for 88, 9 minutes, 90 minutes. I did. I thought we played better. I thought our opportunities were good. I thought defensively we were fine. We probably should have had 1 or 2 goals in the first half alone. I thought, ooh, I missed a clear chance to chip it over
Yep.
McCarthy and put in the back of the net.
Yep. Yep. Yep.
So I thought we left some meat on the bone, but I was happy with the first 90 minutes. Um, I'm not happy with the 1-1 draw. I'm just not because it was there. It was there for the taking. It was there, and it reminds me too much of last year with the MLS Cup. And the mistake that was made is what gets me the most because it's not so much that they lost. Like if Kellen Acosta had put a beautiful like just screamer of a goal, like Andre Blake had no chance, then I would have been like, all right,
Yep.
kudos to him. But if you rewatch the incident, so they get the ball back from LA. Gazdag feeds Elliott. Elliott then allows the ball to kind of make its way further onto his right foot, and he can clear it. He could have cleared it into the Delaware River, and I wouldn't have cared at all. He cleared it directly at Gazlaga. But if you look at where Daniel was positioned, even if Daniel wasn't there, he was hitting into 3 LA players. So that as soon as they get the ball back, Daniel doesn't follow through on the run. Ali Bedoya lets Callan just run right behind him. Olivier obviously can't make it up in time. There was just so many mistakes that happened in a matter of 15 seconds that made no sense. And I hate to pile on Jack Elliott because I feel bad that Jack was the one who got scored on by Bale, especially after he had scored the goal. But it kind of sucks for him that he's had 2 moments now that have cost us matches against LA. And now Jose Martinez is out too.
Oh my
So
gosh, yeah. I mean, we can go into that, but carry on about Elliot and yeah, because
I
you're right. You're absolutely right. I turned over to my cousin Bryant and Dylan, and I said, you could feel it was coming. Too many mistakes happening at once.
and Val says too. Valerie says in comments, absolutely we were the better team, which I thought we were. I thought we earned a 1-0 win. I really did. But go ahead, Jose.
No, I turned over to my family members that were with us in the crowd and said, hey, like after the goal, and said, hey, you could absolutely tell this was coming. And one of them had actually played soccer in high school, and he understood. But Bryant has watched soccer. I don't think he's ever played it, but he also understood way too many mistakes happening in a row to not expect a goal to be what comes out of it, right? That the port clearance that should have been to a different zip code, if not over the bridge or at the bridge, or an 18-wheeler crossing the bridge. Never mind Leon Flock, I think, basically being out of bounds in that play for whatever reason and just looking so lost. But even if you backtrack further, the liability that Jose Martinez became hobbling around on one leg, and we can talk further about that too. So just a disaster of an ending for sure.
It was, and we talked about this last week as well. I believe that we said, would you put Damian Lowe over Jack Elliott? And we said no. We said Jack Elliott deserves to start. And
You
I
and
said it. I said it.
you and Dave said no. I suggested it, but
I
no.
I still think Jack deserves to continue to play throughout. He's done too much over his career with us to be taken out. And played well. But I did mention that Jack has looked slightly less as good as Jacob. That's been obvious. And this is one of those moments. And I also mentioned it in the last episode. I said Jack has had a few turnovers recently that have not been very beneficial to us. So it's almost like he watched it and chimed in right here for his weekly turnover, of course, at the worst possible time.
All right.
But I mean, what the issue is the substitutions that were made.
Lack of.
Many people were upset by it. I'll go to you first. Your substitution thoughts, because we had Quinn Sullivan for Michael Ua, and we had Leon Flock for a hobbled Jose Martinez.
Just piss poor, man. I mean, we keep on going back to this, and we look at the names and what we were promised in a way, right? With the tale of, we need depth. We are going to keep 92% of the minutes, and we're excited, keeping the core together, and just just gonna do it all this year. We're keeping everything intact in a way. But man, when you see Jose Martinez literally hobbling around the field against a team like LAFC, you are legitimately stupid if you don't think that they're going to try to exploit that, let alone just get him involved in a way, because he was also on a yellow, so double the reason to try to go at him, both to beat him on pace and let alone him having to maybe overdo it with his injury. So I don't know if it's Jim's fear of how Jose's gonna feel, or if he, was there a miscommunication? I don't think that there's miscommunication. If Jim says you got to get off, you got to get off. This is not, we're not talking about Chelsea and Kepa back in the day with, was it the Carabao Cup, where the goalkeeper Kepa did not want to come off, and he actually went against his coach's wishes and basically told him to f off. I think it was the Carabao Cup final, and they ended up winning or semifinal. I can't remember, but if Jim says you got to get off, you got to get off. We have been told to promise again of Perea, and we have Bueno, and we also have other players that can step in. And as I mentioned to you at the stadium, why not just go with a back five? Throw in Damian Lowe and just move somebody into the middle, right? Or just I don't know. There's just put Jack in the six, just a tall body to hit something out. Like
Mhm.
just piss poor, man. Just such a bummer, and we still don't see the faces that have done so well for us in this competition, or at least not as much, especially with injury with Damien, but also with Perea not really getting that nod for some reason.
I think so. We saw Michael replaced by Quinn in the usual time frame that it happens, which I was okay with, mainly because I've liked what I've seen from Quinn Sullivan. I think it's fine to bring him on at this point with Ua. Would I like to see more of Michael? Of course I would. I'd like to see at least 70 minutes, but I do think Quinn has earned enough to get 25 minutes a match. So I was fine with that. Fine.
Sure.
But then you're still 0-0, and you absolutely have to score one goal at home. You just have to. You have to have some sort of advantage to go to LA. So then why the fuck are you bringing Leon Flock on? That's it. That I saw it come on and say why. What benefit is it to us offensively to bring him on? And defensively, he hasn't been the same. He just hasn't been. You saw that one clip over from when the match. He just got burned left and right by one of the LA players. He hasn't been the same. So why not bring Bueno to replace Flock, to replace Martinez? As to your point, why not bring Lowe? If he's match ready, why not put him on for 25 minutes to get himself minutes? It just doesn't make any sense. And then not to mention, you have Alejandro Bedoya, who's been playing nonstop. And again, I mentioned it on one of the comments to I think Billy or somebody. I said this is nothing against Bedoya at all. I love Alejandro. This is simply you have a 4-year-old, 35-year-old player who's been playing a lot. You have somebody like Andres Perea on the bench who can play his position. You should make the change. Or Bueno, if you want to bring
Yep.
Bueno on. He plays the same position as Ali, or he can play the same position as Ali. Have them close the match. It's not about talent anymore. It's as much as sometimes it's just about bringing a fresh leg on who can get the job done, which is exactly what Bueno could do. This is exactly what Perea can do. Even if defensively Alejandro was a better player than Andres defensively, Perea is fresh and ready to play, and he's just as dynamic offensively, if not better offensively, that we've seen so far in the short periods we had. So it just doesn't make any sense. And then to see Bedoya just completely get burned by Acosta is just more proof that maybe you should have had somebody different there. That's it. It's I don't know. I don't know. I don't get why Leon is getting so much time. I don't. I'm sorry. Like
Yeah.
it's not. It's again. It's nothing against Leon. It's the fact that we've seen what we've seen from Leon. He hasn't improved since last year at all to our eyesight, to our eye tests. So why not try something different? That's it. That's all I've been. It's all I've been asking for like weeks now. Is just try something different. You have Prey, you have Lowe, you have Bueno, you have Torres, you have even Quinn. You could put Quinn on the 10 on the 8 if you want on the right, and leave Michael up top. There's so many different things you can do with this lineup. It's so 2021. Let's just do the same subs over and over and over. I'm pissed off, Jose. Go ahead.
No, it's totally valid though, Mike. I mean, this is the criticism that we talk about, right? We always emphasize how much we care about this team and we want to see it develop and succeed and improve game in and game out. But when you have this lack of trust, and honestly, it's starting to feel like a lack of trust on some of the players that were brought in, you can't help but to think, you know, what is it about Perea that he can't do compared to a Flock, compared to a Bedoya, right? When in reality, he's had plenty of time in Orlando and he's been a professional, and I give him so much credit and really, even Damien as well, though I I wonder his intentions behind today's tweet with, sending a
He's
hype video
playing.
of himself out
He's
there.
playing. I guarantee he's playing. I
I'm
promise.
guessing I'm guessing he got the word and
Yeah.
when they were discussing the lineup today for pregame.
Yeah.
Um but yeah, it makes you wonder, right? Like, why are we treating Perea like he just got out of Wake Forest and was drafted in the MLS Super Draft, right? Like,
Val-
not even like.
Valerie has a question for you, Jose. Why are we smarter than Jim? Go
And
ahead,
I'm,
Jose.
and I want to be super fair to Jim, right? He has done incredible things for this team over the years. There's no denying that, but there's also no denying the questionable decisions or lack of decision making around the substitutions, especially when you have a 1-0 lead against LAFC. That, sure, there's something to be said about throwing a body into a game at the stage that it was, but if you can't go in and perform for the last, I don't know, 10 minutes it was really between goals, right? Not even, right?
Yeah, it was. They scored in the 86th and the 91st, so it was 5 minutes.
If you can't go in into and keep it keep it safe for 5 minutes, never mind. Again, we talk about the gamesmanship and some people hate it, but the reality is once you get into the 90 plus, make subs, eat up the clock. The referee will never put up the exact number of seconds, minutes that it takes to make a substitution, especially in the 90 plus minute. And I know that's, again, gamesmanship that a lot of people hate, but ultimately that's the way that you get things done at the higher level. And Jim just refuses to do so. So why not? Why not throw in Perea for Bedoya and hell, if it helps the case, just give Bedoya a hat, give him Jordans after he comes off the field in the 70th minute, and just have him stand around in the box if that's what it takes. Give him a cool track jacket or a bomber jacket like Jim, right? And go out there, man. Be assistant coach out in the touchline. Like if
Yeah,
that's what gets the substitutions to happen, let's get them going because there's no reason why we should have tied that game. And again, take 10 steps back, Mike, and back up a whole week, we would have been thrilled with a 1-1 tie.
and
But it's just
well,
the
that's
fact
the
we
thing.
scored first.
And I feel like we've been beating this drum now for like a month where these substitutions, and maybe this is just us not having anything else to talk about. Maybe this is just us constantly saying, like, trying to force this issue and speaking it into its existence here. But I mean, even from an option standpoint, if you really wanted to get creative, you could have even put Olivier on the right and put Nathan in the back. I mean, there's so many things you could have done differently. And even if you had closed out that 1-0 win, the question still would have been, well, where's Pereira? Where's Bueno? All that stuff. I mean, again, I think we're just frustrated. This is basically MLS Cup 2.0 because now we're going to the second half of this leg down 1-0, which is basically the same thing we happened in the MLS Cup as well. We were down 1-0, we came back. So have we done it before in LA? Sure, we've done it before, but the stakes are different. The players are obviously different. And I'm not as that confident. I am confident that we can score one. And if we can score one early on, then now we're winning 1-0. And suddenly the tables have turned. So it's just they have to score early because my fear also is that LA just parks the bus and just tries to beat us on a counter, which they're good enough to do. And
I mean,
then we
that's
just
that's what they tried all 90 minutes, really. I mean, I should say 90. Well, what was it that we scored? Did you say 86? All 85 minutes. You and I stood there together, and with the other guys and gal that were with us, we kept on looking at each other like, this is weird. Like, we've actually been the better team. Like, we've contended in the possession side. We've had just as many passes. I'm not looking at the stats, but I'm guessing that there was probably maybe a difference of 15, 20 passes between us and LAFC passes completed, with LAFC probably higher slightly. So we were there toe to toe. And you alluded to it earlier. We could have had one or two goals prior to that penalty kick. And I know that it's not all equal, right? You can't say, well, we could have scored two and then also got the penalty kick call. But nonetheless, it makes you wonder, right? Had we scored three going into LA, what a different feeling, what a different status we'd be in feeling like right now.
listen, I predicted 2-0. I almost
I
had it. I
Yeah.
almost had it.
No,
Um,
I also almost had $1 million, but I got the wrong number at the end of the lottery
That's
ticket.
that's a fair point. No, I think, and that's where you need players like Ua to step up. And listen, Ua had a fast break against McCarthy. He just simply should have struck it better. But again, credit to McCarthy, and he always kind of finds a way to be a pain in our ass, even when he's not with us, right? So
Thoroughly, man, thoroughly.
I tomorrow night, 10 o'clock p.m. is the game. Jose, I'm assuming you're watching from home, right?
I am. I hope to be back. I have business for the college that I work at in Center City, Philadelphia tomorrow, starting at 10 a.m. and then my last appointment starts at 5, so that should be about an hour 15, and then heading out. So I should be back in time. But yeah, I'll be sitting at home with a glass of bourbon. I think my father-in-law will be here too, so we'll be watching it together. Just I don't know if I can handle all of that emotion. It's gonna be very tough. Either way, I don't know how it's gonna go.
Neither do I. What? So, I mean, let's have the conversation. So, what's the lineup in your eyes for tomorrow, knowing that Lowe has posted on Twitter?
Well, I think that Jack will be taking a seat. Um,
Oh, okay.
I think it's going to be Kylo, Glesnes, and Bizo.
Okay, gotcha.
I think then we're gonna start to get a little tricky here. I think Flock will be at the 6, knowing
Oh,
Jim.
God.
Yeah, Bedoya outright. Who do you put on the
You
left?
have to do McGlynn.
It had McGlynn and then Carranza, Glesnes, uh, Torres. Maybe be more attacking.
No, there's no way you're gonna not have Daniel in there. No shot.
That's what I mean. Sorry, I meant
Yeah.
I don't know why I forgot. Daniel's gonna be up there. Yes, 4-3-3. Yes, Daniel's
Okay.
gonna be there. I know I was forgetting something, and so of course it's our Hungarian hero.
Yeah, he's had like what 7 assists this year in the MLS.
Yeah, he's doing.
He's
He's flying under the radar.
his numbers are actually like MLS wise, they're not bad at all.
I mean,
Um,
when you're competing against Thiago Almada, who is scoring goals from like 45 yards out on a free kick, like yeah, it's hard
yeah.
to be forgotten. Never mind him being in the squad that won a World Cup.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, so I do think so in terms of my game location where I'm going to watch the game. So I'll be going to Zed's in Marlton.
Oh, they're open.
Uh, yes, we can. I saw the owners on Saturday, and Lori, one of the owners, I talked to her on Saturday. She said they will be open, airing the game, and they're going to be doing I think the Colorado match as well for those of you who want to head over later. So I will be there. I think Dan, the guy I met up with last time, he will probably be there as well, along with a few other people. So if you're in Marlton area at 10 o'clock, you will see me at the bar. Um,
Hmm.
I think you go three in the back. I do. I think the reason why is because you want to have Damian Lowe in there, and you're not going to take out Elliott. I'm sorry. We know Jim Curtin well enough. He's not going to remove Elliott. No, there's absolutely no way. He's too good. He's too good to the team. Even if he's had his moments this year, he's too good. So you're going to have three in the back, Lowe in the middle, and then you're going to have Olivier, and you're going to have Kai. Ugh. Jack McGlynn and Alejandro Bedoya would be, I guess, in front of them. And then you're going to have Daniel and obviously the two strikers up top, two forwards up top. Did I count everybody? Is that everybody? Am I missing somebody?
I think you got him. Say that one more time.
Three in the back: Jake, Damien, and Glesnes or Jack, whatever. Kai and Olivier, McGlynn and Bedoya, Daniel, the two strikers,
Yeah,
Carranza and Ua.
you got it though. I'm willing to bet you I'll be bold. I'll bet you a stadium beer that Elliot doesn't play tomorrow, doesn't start.
You really think they're not going to do? Because only reason why I disagree with you is because they're chasing a goal. That is why I disagree with you.
And he's what, a goal threat as a header?
Who, Damien? Yeah.
No. I mean Elliot. I'm talking about Elliot. I don't think he starts tomorrow.
I disagree.
And
Again,
that's why I'm trying to bet you a
we're
beer, Mike. Damn
yeah,
it.
I'll do it. Fine, I'll do it. I know I disagree. I do think that he starts. I don't know why I'm getting that three in the back vibe. I think also it's something that LA hasn't seen before from the Union. I mean, we play them close every match. Every time we
Yeah.
play them, it's a tie. In the MLS Cup final, it was a tie. Yes, the last week it was a tie. The 3-3 in the COVID year was a tie. It's always been a draw.
Well,
So
we're
maybe
winless against them
we are
overall.
winless against them. Yeah, we are winless against them. We're technically lossless against them unless you count the PKs, right? Um, so it's a matter of doing something different, as you said, right? Changing things up a bit. Why
Yeah,
not?
I don't know. I feel like to me it feels like going 3 in the back. It's asking, yes, you're chasing. We are chasing goals. I fully acknowledge that. 3 in the back against LAFC is kind of ballsy, and maybe that's what we need. Maybe you're right. Maybe that's exactly
Let's
what we
get
need.
some fucking balls on us then, Jose. God
But
damn it.
but man, 3 in the back and then getting exploited by Vela is not going to be fun.
No, but it's better to me than the alternative
Which
of
is a 4-3-3.
I don't I like Bueno. I do. I just don't trust him in the back above the other four right now.
Yeah.
I definitely don't trust Flock in the back. We've already seen what happens with Flock in the six.
You know
So
he's gonna get in. You
no,
know he's gonna get
just
in.
if Flock starts at the six, I'm just gonna start drinking more than I already will be already. Um,
Ah.
because I'll be a nervous wreck. And listen, I'm saying that in slight jest, and I also hope Leon Flock makes me eat my words. And at the end of the year, I'm saying, listen, Leon, I apologize. You were the better than I thought this year.
No, Mike,
Um,
continue to talk. This will get us the explicit tag. Continue to talk shit on Leon and just magically make him become Kevin De Bruyne. Like just suddenly this dude starts balling and having 15, 16 assists out of nowhere. I would love that, but yeah, you're right. I just don't see it, man. The regression with him has been tough. Has been very tough to witness.
it's not even as much regression as much as no progression, which I guess in a way you could say is a form of regression, because it just hasn't been advancing. But I
Are you a politician?
me, no,
Yeah, you're starting to speak like one. My God.
I know, it's kind of scary. I don't think he's worse than last year. I just don't think he's been better. And that's in a way, again, like I said, this almost the same thing because what we saw bits and pieces of last year was he was started improving his attacking ability. So he started seeing a couple more cutbacks. I think he had that assist on Casper that one game, I think 2 years ago. You
Yep.
started seeing little by little that he was starting to have those moments. But now it just seemed to flatline. Like it just hasn't been happening. So but again, he reminds me of Warren Creval. He reminds me of somebody, if he's good enough to come in and shut out the match, get those defensive stops, just run his ass off for 20 minutes. And that's not, there's nothing wrong with that as a player. That's a valuable piece of the team. I think Leon could be a very valuable closer defensively for this team. But the reality is the MLS is crazy. You need goal scorers. You have too good of an offense up top in the top three to not facilitate around them with better offensive attacking players like Jack McGlynn, like Andres Perea, which is why I'm very happy that McGlynn's been starting as much as he is.
Mike, give me your man of the match from this past last Wednesday.
Oh my God, wait, Val St. Leon De Bruyne, thank you for that
Leon De
comment.
Bruyne. That's
And then prove
beautiful.
us wrong with Leon's. Yeah, listen,
Val,
we
you and
hope so.
another 19,000 people.
Yeah, seriously. All right, say man of the match from last match.
Yeah, yeah. I'll go. You
Yeah,
can think about it.
we'll say Martinez.
You think so?
I'm trying to remember parts of the match. I don't remember because I was going crazy half the time. I
Well,
mean,
I'll go.
yeah, go ahead.
I think Mbiza was
Oh yes,
unbelievable.
yes,
He was
yes, yes.
unbelievable.
Hmm.
Both defensively, but also offensively, and serving up crosses and also some cutbacks. And I could be wrong. I'm not as statistically minded as I probably should be, especially for someone who gets on front of a mic to talk about a soccer team. But I can't think of, having been there for 90 minutes. Um, I can't think of many missed passes that he had. And again, I could be completely wrong, but I thought he did a stellar job last game. I was amazed that he even had an injury the week before.
Yeah.
Whatever the issue was, hard to believe.
No, Olivia's been playing well, which makes it basically Nathan is just going to have to wait his turn. You'll probably see him against New York, if anything. Excuse me. But Olivia, he played great. In terms of everybody else, I mean, I thought Daniel played fine. I do. I thought they were the better team, so I was disappointed by the outcome. But for this match, you're going to have to be all out. You cannot play conservative at all in the slightest. So I hope Jim goes for it. And whether it's your lineup or whether it's my lineup, just go for it. And if you lose, 2-0, so be it. But at least if you're trying to score as much as you possibly can, then, that's all we can ask for,
I'm
honestly.
I'm getting some flashbacks here, and I hope this doesn't happen. So maybe me saying it will let it not become a thing or exist, etc. But you remember when we went to Mexico for the Club America,
Yeah, of
and
course.
Casper missed that little like flick
Yeah.
to the back post in like the first, I don't know, was it 5 minutes?
His first 5 minutes, yeah, and he misses the flick that would have sent us all into heaven.
That goal goes in. That's a different tale altogether. I can't remember if we lost or won the first game. I think we lost.
We lost the first game 2-0.
Yeah, okay, so you score that goal, it's essentially tied.
Yeah.
No, actually, no, we would have been down, but nonetheless, winning in Mexico the way that could have gone potentially, that would have been huge. So I'm just getting flashbacks and hopes, and this is what I'm getting at. Long-winded way to say, I hope the chances that do come are actually taken care of, and it's gonna be critical for Carranza and Gastag and Ua to not have an Ua breakaway and then a bad touch that goes straight at McCarthy.
I mean, really, you mentioned that moment, and it makes me think of the mistakes this club has made over the
Butterfly
year.
effect.
Yeah, no, it's no, but you think about, what good teams do is they don't make those mistakes. They don't give up a turnover like Jose Martinez does at the box in Mexico that makes it, because it would have been 1-0. We almost left there at a 1-0 loss, which would have been incredible considering how good Club America was that year. But
Yeah.
instead, Jose Martinez has a turnover that leads to the 2-0 outcome. So then you have, even if you look back at LAFC, right? You have the poorly defended header at the end of the game. You have Jack McGlynn's header that kind of ricochets the ball into the net. You have the mistake from Jack Elliott this past Tuesday at home in Chester, Wednesday, whatever it was. It's this club making these mistakes in the biggest moments. Even Gazdag slipping on the PK, right?
Yep.
It's just these little moments that happen, or these missed opportunities. Nagira hitting the post. Casper not hitting the back heel. Like, it's just these little tiny moments that have happened over this, past 7, 8, X amount of years of really important football from this club that leaves you wondering, like, God, are we that close to actually doing something great? And why can't we just not make those mistakes or not miss those opportunities? Like Ua, he had a great chance to make it 1-0 early on, and he misses it. But then the week prior, the match prior against Toronto, he makes it look effortless. It's where's the consistency in that regard? So
The rain's what was missing.
the rain and the jerseys, those nice black jerseys, they were nice. I liked them.
Big pass for me on those.
I liked them. They were a lot of money,
Uh,
and I said no thanks.
yeah.
Um, so, so yeah, again, like I said, it's a very eerie duplicate of the MLS Cup final with us down a goal. So now we'll see what happens. But let's look at predictions here. Jose,
Yep.
what's your score prediction and goal score prediction for Tuesday night tomorrow?
I think it'll be a 2-1 LAFC win, one by Vela and one by Acosta. And then we're going to have Carranza score one too few.
Yeah. So if it's 2-1, it would be 4-3 aggregate, wouldn't it be?
Yeah, I believe so.
All right.
I'm not
Yeah.
happy about it. I'm not proud
No,
of the
I need.
prediction, but it's, I think, how I feel, man. It's a
No,
bummer.
I do. I don't know. My brain is telling me, 1-1, my brain's telling me 2-1 as well. I'm going to say 1-0 Union. Now, 1-0 Union would get us what? Would it not get us the advance, right?
That would get us to advance.
1-0. I'm going to say it. I
So
don't know why.
essentially it would be 3-2 then.
It'd be 3-2. So I'm going to say 1-0 Union. I would love to see Jack Elliott get a goal to redeem himself. I don't think that's going to happen.
You're such a stand for that guy.
Love Elliott. I don't think it's going
You're
to happen.
such a
I
stan.
am. Listen, Dave is a stand for Leon Flock.
I called him out. You like that? I called him
I
out the
did
other
call him out.
day.
You're such a
No,
stand.
actually, anybody who listens or watches our show knows that Dave is the biggest Leon Flock stan. I don't know
Yeah,
why. Maybe it's the way that they both talk, but they're stands for one another.
they are. I love Elliott, and I know you love Perea. So we all have a man crush. That's fine.
I like to think that mine's Carranza, but go on. Both are
Oh
valid.
yeah, you love Carranza. So it's gonna be 1-0 Union. I'm gonna be optimistic with it. I think it's a redemption for us. We
Sure.
get it, and we finally the perfect Hollywood story, right? You get your heart broken in LA, you redeem yourself, come back for revenge, and you get that 1-0, and you advance to play who the fuck cares and against from a Mexican side. And I'm gonna
Actually,
go Jack. I'm gonna go Jack McGlynn.
they're the Wednesday game now, right?
Yeah, I think so. So
Yeah, yeah.
I'm gonna go Jack McGlynn is gonna get a goal. Um, just he's been close. He's had his moments. I think he finally breaks through. So 1-0, Union advance. We all go home happy. And last but not least, we have the Red Bulls match on Saturday. So we'll make it brief. I don't.
Which is the weirdest thing, Mike. I mean, for real. When's the last time that we, as fans, I think, let's just talk about it, across the pitch, but let alone as a fan base, this New York Red Bulls game is completely flying under the radar, right? Like
Yeah.
it feels that way, just completely, out of sight, out of mind right now,
It's also the first of 3 away games for the Union,
which is
which is which is a
interesting.
little daunting if you really think about it. So if you don't know the schedule, the Red Bulls, the Minnesota United, and Colorado Rapids are our 3 consecutive away matches, which, as Eric mentioned in the last episode, we are not road warriors at all. So to think that we might lose in LA and then have to go on a 3-game road trip, not really happy about that. The Red Bulls,
Interestingly
though,
enough,
yeah,
Minnesota's the only team out of that bunch that doesn't have a Union player,
really,
ex-Union player. Yeah, Colorado has Keegan,
Keegan.
and New York has Corey Burke.
I'm gonna look on the squad list because I'm not sure about that, but we're gonna verify. So I mean, yeah, you're right. I think also I do think the rivalry between Red Bull and the Union has slightly died a bit. I not a lot. I was talking to Alex Winley about this when I asked her,
Yeah.
like, who is your rivals with Miami, all that. She's like, oh, of course, Orlando. She had mentioned DC United has been kind of a bit of a butting heads, and the Union obviously had become a bit of a butting head with Miami. But I mentioned to her about our rivals, and it's like traditionally speaking, it's the Red Bulls, but they just haven't played us well enough to really be considered a rival in a long time. And if it's gonna be me, and if you're gonna say, "Oh, pick a game that you want to watch," the Union versus NYCFC or the Union versus Red Bull, I'm gonna pick an NYCFC each time.
Mike, respectfully, I may have to push back a little bit
Go
there. I
ahead,
mean,
I want
let's
to hear
let's
it.
let's not forget about it taking a Glessner's wonder goal for us to go and advance against them. Let's not forget about them tying against us while we were a man up at home, therefore not giving us MLS final at home. Um, but I agree with you that it feels like maybe it has been toned down a little bit, but
Yeah.
is it more of a case that maybe we have evolved onto bigger, further away fish with LAFC? Because that's really, I mean, obviously, when we can tout that we were the largest, most watched MLS final ever, that's obviously something. And the game this past Wednesday was fitting for the anticipation. Let's just face it, if you're a neutral and you watch that game, you probably felt like, damn, that was a good game. A lot of excitement, a lot of chances, good soccer being played, good MLS soccer being played. Um, Maybe we moved on from the Route 95 or whatever Highway 95 rivals, and we're moving along from them to across the country to LA being our rivals.
Well, it doesn't help that the Red Bulls haven't really been a dominant force in recent history. They just haven't been. They haven't been something that we would consider a true, title contender, at least in my opinion. Um,
Longest MLS streak of playoffs. I remember that.
yeah, it's I don't know. And then of course maybe this is me gonna kick myself in the ass when they beat us 1-0, 2-0. But I don't
At
know.
Subaru Park
I know,
in the
right?
playoffs.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm not concerned about the Red Bull just yet. I do think the lineup will be slightly different depending on the outcome of LA. If we go into LA and get an early lead and hold on to them and can make subs and kind of almost have some player management, which I don't think is going to happen. But I'm saying if that were to happen, then I do see more of our starting lineup playing against the Red Bull because it still is only Tuesday. That game's on Saturday. So Jim's not going to have a major turnaround. You might see more from Carranza or from Sullivan rather. You might see a couple more pieces like that. Maybe Harriel plays because Harriel has played against the Red Bull periodically speaking. So maybe Olivia gets the rest. I don't see it being that much of a change. They're going to go to Diamond. It's going to be an ugly match. Probably going to be a draw, or the Union are going to sneak off with a 1-0, 2-0 win. It's not going to be the prettiest of games, which it never is.
I actually think we lose that.
You don't even think we're going to make it out of there with a win or draw, rather.
No, I don't think so. I really don't. I mean, we talk about the yeah. We still caution new fans. Yes, that's
No,
absolutely
a
right,
red.
Val.
And Valerie mentions, I think we moved on a bit from the Red Bulls mattering that much to us, which is true. I do.
And yeah,
I
I mean
think so.
it's yeah, you're absolutely right, Val. But yeah, it's interesting. I wonder what's gonna happen, right? If I'm playing Football Manager, right, which we know Dave loves, and it's very much what most Europeans like more than FIFA. But if
Hmm.
I'm managing this team, I would think go all out. You have to go all out in LA. Reality is outside of wanting to please the fans into this so-called rivalry, which again it just feels weird to even call it a rivalry considering we're not paying attention to it and we're just I don't know what 6 days removed from it, 5 days removed from it.
Yeah.
I say you go all out for the LA game and then just again another setup game because say you win in LA, I am not too worried about that Saturday match. That should be just everybody healing. Just heal, 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 and then US Open Cup, another cup run there. The following what, Tuesday?
Against Minnesota.
Minnesota. Yeah.
So we play them twice in like a week and a half.
I believe we play on Tuesday, Mike. So I really do think that if things go well tomorrow, Saturday is another setup match for us to go out and use the US Open Cup as another cup run.
That's a lot
Because
of
I think
soccer.
you and I, everybody who's watching, I think would agree that they would rather yes, MLS Cup is great, and maybe I'm backtracking what I've said in the past, but if we were to win the Champions League and the US Open Cup in 1 year, I think we prefer that to winning just the MLS Cup.
I wouldn't mind it.
I would love it. I'd be thrilled to have
Yeah.
the US Open Cup and the Champions League in 1 year. MLS can go punch air.
No, I mean, listen, oh God, there's so much soccer. And the League's Cup, it starts in July. It's just endless this
It's
year,
almost
man.
like we should have more depth, right? It's almost like we should be using subs more.
What are subs? Is that what you eat at? What is that? I've never heard. I mean, I've taken a Subway. Is that what you're talking about? I don't know what a sub is.
No, but
Um,
you understand what I'm saying? No, like
yeah,
I
no, I
think
do.
I think yeah, it's Tuesday. So I think if everything goes well in LA, we sneak off with a 2-0 win or a 1-0 win. We move along to the Champions League. Saturday's another setup match to again reset for a Minnesota game, which I think is very much a trap card. I don't know if you throw in all the starters, but you certainly throw in some good players. I don't think we want to have the debacle that we had against Orlando, who ended up winning it, but nonetheless, I don't think you want that.
The problem is where Jim ranks the U.S. Open Cup. Because let's say we lose in LA, CCL runs over, right? I think, and I think my gut's telling me he's going to go for it with MLS games
Well, Mike, that's
until you
kind
get
of
the League's Cup because he already saw what he did last year with the Open Cup. I'm
a
just saying.
a disaster. But Mike, that's kind of rich coming from a guy who had one hand on the trophy, but we ended up coughing it up. And the only thing that man has ever held of any substance that is metal for our silverware case is a supporter shield.
With an asterisk on it.
Right. So let's just be real here. Like I don't think he has the yes, again, he's done so many great things for our club, but I don't think he has no Pep Guardiola where he can pick what competition's more important to him than others. So again, I think every competition should matter. Obviously, we're prioritizing the CCL right now. MLS with how open and easy it is to make the playoffs this year, and I hope I'm not saying this only to have to really eat my words at the end of the season. I don't think we worry about the MLS too much, especially as we approach the US Open Cup,
We're in
it,
10th right now.
which it was only what we're 1 point away
Four,
from making it.
four, 4 points away from fourth place.
Okay, so again, like we're not talking about racer thin
No.
issues here. We're not talking about racer thin margins with other teams making it into the playoffs. Never mind, supporter shields out the window. Let's just acknowledge that, right? That's
Yeah.
gone.
We've
So
already won that anyway.
right. So making it to the playoffs, I think we worry about that after we see how far we get into the U.S. Open Cup.
I think it's funny. I think I worry we even make it to the playoffs, and I'm talking about health wise
Oh, dude, that's
because
of course,
because
that's a fact.
again we have another injury. As soon as one player goes in, the other player goes out. It's been that way all year. Andre Blake goes down, he comes back. Kai Wagner goes down,
Mhm.
friggin' Mumbiza goes down, Daniel Lowe
Low.
goes down,
Yeah.
Jose Martinez. It's you have to think, is it them being overplayed?
Y
Probably, possibly. I'm gonna say possibly.
Yeah, it's very much a possibly, but let's also not forget, and I remember this departure, but their head of exercise science or whatever his title really was, he departed this offseason, I remember,
Yeah,
at
he went
least
to
I
Miami,
recall.
didn't he?
Yeah, I think he departed to go to Miami or somewhere in Florida. Well, obviously Orlando's the other option, but, nonetheless, he departed, so, maybe that's a position that really made and break really benefited us to maybe have the better conditioning, this or that. I don't know. It's interesting. It's all speculation right now, but
Yeah,
you're
of
right.
course.
It feels like we're more susceptible to injuries this year than ever before. But
It's every week, man. Every
yeah,
week
yeah,
it's
yeah.
it's
Every
it's
week.
oh my Leon Flock, another one. I forgot him.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. No, of course. But for those of you listening or watching, Val, we I saw your comment about all cups matter. Drop a comment on this YouTube video, or maybe if you're on Twitter, just let us know. Do you prefer the other two trophies compared to the MLS Cup? Where do you stand on all this? I'd be eager to hear.
Well, I did the poll earlier this year, and
Oh yeah,
majority of people said MLS Cup, and then it was the next one down was CCL.
I
I
was on
mean,
that boat, Mike.
yeah. Listen, man. I don't know. I just want to see them play good soccer. I just want to see them healthy. But the fact remains, and this is not going to change. This season needs a trophy. There is absolutely no excuse not to have a trophy. If they do not win at least one, supporter shield's already gone. That's already one off the list, right?
Yep.
So if you have to win at least one, and hypothetically speaking, they do not, that completely falls on curtain. It does, and I'm just gonna say that now because when we get done the season in October, if it comes to that, we'll come back to this day and say, was it his fault? Was it Tanner's fault?
Well,
What
Mike,
can we
he's
say?
he's he's contractless after October.
I know
Let's not forget that. Maybe it's on
change
purpose. I don't know. Maybe he's
changes could be coming.
Yeah, he could be just writing this out. I don't know. It's interesting. It's fascinating, and I remember someone asking him the question outright. Like, what's going on with your contract? And obviously, very PR trained, knows what he's doing. Um, in response, I should say, he knows how he's responding. But yeah, I'm interested to see how this all unfolds. But even when you threw that poll out there, Mike, I was very much on the MLS bandwagon. But of course, things developed the way they did, and we had a slow start in MLS, but somehow found our way, despite it being probably, and I think we all agreed last week, easiest route to the semifinals of the Champions League. So it's our time to put up or shut up on this competition.
Oh, and like as you said, man, if we win on Wednesday, tomorrow night rather, it's gonna be a very exciting time for us Philly fans. But again, that's across the pitch. I'll do the sponsors in a second. And again, the Red Bulls match is on Saturday, and then we had the quick turnaround. We played Minnesota United for the third round of 32. I think it is for the U.S. Open Cup at this point. I lost track of the rounds. Is it
I
30?
believe so. It's
Okay.
it's it's weird this year where they had all these initial 2 rounds or 3 rounds or whatever really early into the year, but I think
Mhm.
after this round it really slows down. I don't think we go back at it till August, if not September.
So weird. It's such a weird competition.
Well, Leagues Cup's in the way.
Statement Games, statementgames.com for a fun new way to fancy sports entertainment with gift cards and prizes. Free to sign up at statementgames.com. Doan Distillery at the Trolley Barn Public Market in Quakertown. Go to doandistillery.com to check out their wide variety of drinks and spirits. Vinny's Pizza Restaurant in Allentown, PA. Discover a new favorite by trying their top pizzas and so much more. Check out their new website at vinnyspizzarestaurant.com. Stuff the Grills at 6750 Iroquois Trail number 5 in Allentown, PA. And stuffthegrills.com. They have homemade hot and cold sandwiches, salads, appetizers, and baked goods available for any event. And across the pitch gear and all the AAT Sports Network gear at aatsportsnetwork.com/shop. And that is the sponsor read. Again, Jose, final thoughts for you, sir.
Uh, Gosh, tomorrow's going to be a roller coaster, but despite how it goes, really thrilled to have seen this team go either to the semifinal or advance to the final. We'll see what happens. Unfortunately, I think that's where no, do we have is it a home and away for the final?
I couldn't tell you. My brain is so lost this year on these league on these competitions. I couldn't tell you.
Oh,
Maybe
that would be a blast if it was a home and away. That would mean another Subaru Park.
140,
Well,
140.
Mike, 140 for me is every weekend. I'm not, you know that. Not so much for you, but outside of
If they
soccer,
make it to the final, I will be there for the one in 140. I
well,
promise.
I you just put it into eternity by saying it out loud on the internet. So yes,
That's
we'll
true.
expect you there. Outside of soccer, I just want to wish my cousin Bry some luck. It's not a birthday. It's nothing relatively happy that's going on. He's going through a very rough patch right now. He was with us for the soccer game. He's just really going through a tough patch right now, and wish him all the luck. Love you, guy. Hopefully everything goes along smoothly, but can't wait to see you again and watch some soccer.
Yeah, absolutely. Amen to that. And the final thought for me, man, let's just have a good time, enjoy it. So Giannis Antetokounmpo lost in the NBA final this past week and week and a half ago.
Playoffs.
Playoffs, yes. I'm sorry, in the playoffs, they lost to, I want to say, Miami. I think it was in the playoffs. So after his game in the press conference, one of the reporters said, "Is this season a failure?" And he said, "No, the season's not a failure. Every single year, you take steps towards success." He mentioned, Michael Jordan had won 6 titles. Does that mean all the other years he didn't win a title was a failure? No, he took steps to success to get to those 6 titles, to have the storied career that he has. So, um, I think it's easy to get caught up in these wins and losses and be like over the moon or absolutely crushed. I mean, I'm there. I was crushed after the MLS Cup final. I saw Michael Borton on on was it Tuesday night last week, and
Hmm.
he's like, "Last time I saw you, you were depressed." I was like, "I know," because it was after the game. I haven't seen him since the final, so it's easy to be caught up in the emotions. But I think you do if you take it from that perspective. Win or loss, you just you go, you enjoy the team, you escape your world for 90 minutes or 180, whatever it is that you're watching, and you just try to enjoy it. And hopefully they win it, and if not, you just take it as a next step to the whatever that next title will be. So that is across the pitch. Tomorrow night you can follow us on Twitter. It's Jose R Nunez 91, Embraer 1323 on TikTok and Twitter as well. And I'll be putting out segments for this show on TikTok. I'll send out some pictures tomorrow from Zed's, which have great beers. So if anybody's there, please join me. And again, that's across the pitch. Everybody, happy Monday night. Dude.
Good night.